I know that it's summer, there's a lot going on, and I feel like this time of year, even though there's more daylight, it's like I'm trying to pack more in. So um, I was really sitting and trying to think, okay, if I could let everyone know things that save me a lot of headache or heartache or time or money, what would they be? And so this is what this presentation is about. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started, if that's cool with all of you. I want to direct you to, if you're a late joiner, there's a chat window. So I have the group chat open, and you can type a message there. So for example, if you want to ask me a question again, or if you want to just say something to, I don't know, everybody here, you're welcome to use the chat window. I'm just keeping it open here on the bottom of the screen so that I can be responsive. So according to Audrey, all is good. You're able to hear me and you're able to see my screen. If that is not the case, please type in the chat window, and I will do what I can on my end to make that different. Okay, so first things first, I want to tell you a little bit about a project I've been working on for a year. It's called GiftMDI, and basically it's a website that sells gift certificates to local businesses. And I know that sounds like kind of a random idea, but where it came from is my friend was trying to buy a gift certificate at a local business. And so he had to figure out when they were open because it was the winter and they were sporadically open. And so he went in and they said, the owner isn't here and she's the only one who can sell it to you. Can you come back later? So then he came back actually 2 different times. And finally the third time she was there and he had to go through to her office and she had to find the book, and it was just this real pain in the butt. And he said, I've never worked so hard to buy something local in my life. And what I thought was, well, how many people don't even work that hard, but would buy local if it was easy? And so I set up this website. And just a little bit about this, we try to make buying local as easy as humanly possible. So if you go to shop, all the businesses are listed locally by name, but also you can search by the town that they're in. You can search by the gift recipient. You can search by a type of business, or you can even type something in. So let's say your friend likes organic stuff. You can type in organic and it'll pull up everything that is technically organic on the site. So the other thing is that as you're going through, you can add multiple gift certificates to your cart and send them to multiple people. Most gift certificates are open-ended. So, if I wanted to, I could go and buy an A and B gift certificate for, $9.97 if I wanted to. That's the thing with gift certificates. They're, supposed to be pretty straightforward like that. Now you'll notice what happens here is I type in the amount of the gift certificate and it adds $5 to it. Businesses get 100% of their gift certificate money. I want you to know that. I think sites like Groupon are great and everything, but the reality is most businesses are working on relatively small margins and that they can't afford to discount. And so I wanted to take that into account. And most customers have experiences with things like Ticketmaster and other sites that offer a handling fee. And when I did a survey, our customers that we surveyed said they would not mind paying a handling fee, especially if they know that the money was going toward the businesses. That $5 basically saves them from having to go into the business and get the gift certificate, or it saves them from having to call in and give their credit card number over the phone to someone they don't know. That would freak me out personally. But anyway, so what people can do is they can put the amount that they want in and they can say that it's for them, in which case it's not going to ask them additional questions. Or if they say it's for someone else, it will ask them if they want our standard greeting card or if they want a premium greeting card. And then they can put in a custom message, which is kind of neat. If you're sending it to yourself, you don't have to write a custom message. And then they can add it to the cart. If they click buy now, it'll add to the cart. And they can add multiple things to their cart and pay all at once. And yes, you can add multiple gift certificates and you can send them to multiple places. Something interesting that I've noticed, and I don't know if you guys have noticed it in your stuff too, is so I'm in the browser, Google Chrome right now. And there's this purple button that has showed up. And apparently it also shows up on Android devices. So if you've ever done a payment in Google Chrome and you've saved your information, it's kind of like like an Amazon Pay situation. So if I click buy now, it just asks me to choose the shipping address and the payment information, and it's going to fill them in which is kind of neat. Or people, if they don't have Google, they're not going to see the fancy purple button. They will definitely see the yellow button that we coded onto the site. So people can not only send gift certificates easily, but they can kind of add some things to make it a little special, like a message or a card. Now, in terms of businesses, like I said, businesses keep 100% of the money. And that was just really important to me because I didn't want people to feel like we were trying to fleece them or anything like that. And we list all businesses for free. So even if somebody mows lawns and they're a single person operation, that's fine with me. If they have a gift certificate and they'll honor it, we'll add them to the site, no problem. My goal is that we show the diversity of our local economy with this site. So not just, tourism related stuff is great, but also, service related businesses and other types of businesses. I will say I was looking for something the other day about a business, and I noticed that the GiftMDI site was the #1 ranking thing for them. And I was like, oh, that's neat, because I feel like giving people visibility is always nice. Now, as part of their free listing, like I said, people can buy the gift certificate, but also we have a description of the business. We have the business's website. We have the Facebook page. We have an address and phone number. So, I want people to feel like they have the contact information for the business if they want to maybe ask a question, or if they want to just, otherwise support them in other ways besides buying something on this site. So, and the other thing too is that for most businesses, gift certificates are a pretty good moneymaker. They, if you think about it, there's a certain attrition rate, right? So there's people who will never bring in the gift certificates. And I feel like it's around 20% for most industries. So think about it. If you sold $500 of gift certificates, $100 of it is like free money because those people never come in. But the other thing is that the people who do redeem gift certificates typically will spend more. So rather than leave $3 on their gift certificate, they're going to, buy something extra and throw a couple of bucks in themselves to get the full value of it. So we like gift certificates as a money-making proposition for pretty much any kind of business out there. What we've noticed in terms of people who are buying on this site is that it's mostly people who have a local connection. So they are maybe living in California or somewhere else, and they're buying for their mother or their grandfather or somebody who is either living here or is coming here on vacation. So that's pretty neat. But we also have local people. I've had local people buy it too, like somebody in Ellsworth or somebody in Soamesville, because they don't feel like dealing with it. They're like, great, $5 handles it. And I will say that $5 is pretty good because it covers credit card processing, it covers our postage, it covers our stationery, it covers our web hosting. So in the end, we're not necessarily making a ton off every sale, but part of it is, like I said, showing what is available in this community. So a couple of things, just so that you know that they exist if your friends ask. We list all businesses for free, okay? You don't have to be a member of anything. You don't have to pay me any money. We will list you if you sell a gift certificate and are in the geographic area. But if you want to pay for an enhanced listing, we have a few of those. So an enhanced listing appears on the homepage. It's in the rotation. I think we have 15 of them right now. So we've got 3 spots. So the 15 people rotate in the 3 spots. We also, so let's just click on one, for example. With the enhanced listings, we also include extra information. So, we will write whatever the business wants in terms of extra information. We can include a slideshow. We can include links to all social media, a Google map, and basically take the time to make the listing look exactly how the business wants it to look. If we did that for all 125, you can imagine this would be somebody's full-time job, but we certainly don't mind doing it for our enhanced listings. The other thing is each business that's on this site gets 2 status updates in our Facebook rotation. Enhanced listings get 5. So they get extra mentions on Facebook, they get extra fields of information, and they appear on the homepage. And I will say that the enhanced listings seem to get about double the views of the regular ones. So I'm not really sure why yet. I'm happy to report back when I figured it out. But it's $52 a year, i.e. $1 a week. So if you want an enhanced listing, we can upgrade you and make your listing look exactly how you want it to look. The other thing is that we have sponsored blog posts. I feel like if BuzzFeed can do it, we can do it too. Let me close this. I made my window too small here. So you know how BuzzFeed writes those articles and it's, you know, content about a certain topic and it's sponsored by a business. Well, you know, we can do the same thing at GiftMDI. So, you know, if you, I don't know, made jams or something and you wanted to talk about, you know, 10 unconventional recipes for blueberry jam, we could write a sponsored blog post about, you know, with your business featured on it. And I would say, I think this, our blog posts get, it's hard to tell because our blog posts keep getting traffic, even though we've written them sometimes, in this case, over a year ago. But, you know, they get, I think our most traffic blog post has gotten 900 hits and our least traffic has gotten like 100. So if you think about it, it's kind of like an advertisement that's out there for you all the time. And yeah, so those are kind of the two ways if people want to pay a little extra and get a little more involved, they can. But if you just want to tell people about this, that would be fantastic. And what we're trying to do is bring this into other marketplaces. We're trying to bring this to other communities. So rather than having their downtown organization or their chamber of commerce pay to build this thing, and trust me, it can do a lot more than I'm showing you. What we want to do is we want to say, hey, listen, we'll license you a template. You know, we'll change out your town name. We'll make it, you know, a custom design, and we'll show you how to make money with it. I feel like sometimes we pay for an expensive website design and we don't necessarily make any money off of it. So I want this to be the opposite of that. So that is the end of my GiftMDI pitch. Now on to the fun tips and tricks of saving time and money. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are Gmail users, but or Google Apps users, but in case you are, well, come on. I had the drafts open. Hold on. Oh, there it is. New message. Okay. So something you may not have heard of, and I hadn't heard of until pretty recently, is when you have a new message open, there's this little arrow in the lower right-hand corner. I have a really hard time with right and left, by the way. So if I pause, it's because I'm just having a hard time. There's this little drop-down arrow, and one of the options is called canned responses. Basically, these are email templates. And let's face it, some of us get the same kinds of emails a lot, right? So what I can do is if someone says, hey, I'm getting a full server issue or I'm getting email spam, I can just click this. Oh, no, I don't want to delete it. Sorry. I accidentally hit, this is the delete section. Okay, so I'm going to insert a full server canned spam issues. Ta-da! And now what's cool is that you basically write these templates and you can fill them in. And there's no reason that you can't, go in and personalize it a bit if you want. But at the very least, it, gives people a good thing to do. And we have, like I said, we have a few of them ready to go. We could definitely get a few more. Now, if your email doesn't support this, the other thing you can do is you can have a document saved somewhere where people can access it. Like, and I don't know whether this is like a company, server or something. We use Google Docs, and what I call it is, I use the word F in the title so that I can find it easy. Like, so for example, workshop emails, so we don't have to rewrite them, and client emails, so we don't have to rewrite them. So basically, we write these templates, and they're ready to go. If someone asks us a basic question, I'm not sitting there spending 20 minutes telling people, about how something works that I spend a lot of time telling people. So what you can do is you can also use these and make a frequently asked questions section of your website. So as you're sitting writing these, you can have them be on your physical website, and you can have them ready to go in your email. And I know what you're thinking, Nicole, if it's on my website, people aren't going to ask me about it. But I think those of us with websites know that people ask you the same questions, even though it's on your website. So just know that there's this canned responses thing, and it is glorious. And it makes you feel like you are just answering emails super fast. The other kind of bonus thing, if you use Google Chrome, and actually I think this works in things that aren't Google Chrome too, is there's a little thing called Boomerang. So it's great. Let me just minimize this for a second. If you look in this upper right quadrant, there's this little kind of rainbow boomerang. It's an extension. And what it does is when I write emails, there's the usual send button that we're used to, but then there's this send later button. So what I can do, and we all know those people who like immediately write back to you and are otherwise a little bit hard to deal with over email. You want them to get your email toward the end of the day, but you don't want to have to remember to send it. Or I don't know, you're working on a Saturday night and you don't want people to know you're working on a Saturday night and you want to send it Monday morning. You can click on the send later button and you can schedule when the email will send. So the free version of Boomerang lets you do this, I think, for 5 or 10 messages a month. And I think the paid version is like $5 a month or $10 a month or something. I have a client who does weekly rental stuff, and she was using these timed emails to, when she got a new booking, to make sure that she didn't have to remember to send, the week before email and then the day of email and then the, day after they check in email. She could just, once they made a booking, she could write 3 emails and then just schedule them for when they were supposed to go out. Again, if you're, booking hundreds of things, you don't necessarily want to do this manually, but if you're like most of us and run a pretty small business, that works pretty well. So 2 little things, the Boomerang, and Boomerang might also work with other email providers. I'm not necessarily aware of that, but I did want you to know that it exists and it is glorious for when the times that you need it. Okay, so canned responses and Boomerang done. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is you've heard a ton, I'm sure, about GDPR compliance in the past, 2 weeks. Now, you might not say, well, I haven't heard of that, but you might have gotten about 1,000 emails from every person that you subscribe to, every company, saying that they've changed their privacy policy. What happened is there was a law that passed in the EU that basically said that you can't just track people if they don't want to be tracked, which I suppose is fine. But the 2 things that, if I was going to summarize this in 2 lines, is you need to have a clear privacy policy on your website. So if you're collecting cookies from people, if you are going to be using, if you're using remarketing pixels on your website, you need some kind of privacy policy that states that. And that's why you got all those emails, because they updated their privacy policy and they wanted to let you know to go back and look at it. Now, for most of our purposes, having just a privacy policy that links to the page of your web, most pages of your website. A lot of people put a link in the footer of their website, for example. This is what I did for GiftMDI when we started doing remarketing pixels. Because we're tracking people, we have to legally disclose that we are. So what we did is, I think it's on the footer of the website. Hold on. Of course, I can't find it right this second. So I know, though, we have one. It might be just linked on the homepage. So what we did is, if you look at this, you might think I'm a legal expert, but I am not. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a lawyer look at your legal policy or your privacy policy if you really want to. But if you need to just generate one so you can take out Facebook ads that are remarketing, this is a pretty good website that will help you generate one. And as far as I can tell, there's no catch to it. I mean, they will be like, oh, do you want to put this on nice paper? We can put it on your letterhead for this much. Or I think there's a couple of upsells at the end, but you can just download your privacy policy. I went at, and that's what I did when I made GiftMDIs, is I used this freeprivacypolicy.com, generated it, put it on our website, and then, made sure that people, make sure it was linked to the right spots. Like I said, most people put the link in the footer of the website so that it's not obtrusive. The other part of this crazy, well, and by crazy, I mean crazy, sexy new EU law, is that, when you go to a website, on the very top of it, it says, this site takes cookies, and you have to click accept or yes or something like that. Well, with this new law, people, if they click no, you have to actually not track them. So most website programs have some kind of plugin. I know Shopify's is $15 a month to turn on theirs. WordPress has a free one, or actually a few free ones. And when people ask me why I use WordPress, this is the kind of reasons why. When new stuff comes out, everybody is all over it. So basically, this is just one of the plugins. And what it does is it just lets people opt in to, if they opt into being tracked, it'll track them. And if they opt out, it'll opt them out. So if you are, now you only have to do this if you're doing business with the EU. So you don't necessarily have to panic about this yet. But, it's something that I think we're going to increasingly have to think of as people who use the internet to track other people. So, so just know that, the privacy policy and letting people opt out of tracking and then actually not tracking them when you opt out is something that is part of that new law that goes into effect for the EU. And I think maybe we'll eventually come to this side of the pond as well. Now, I'm about to bum you guys out a little bit. Facebook advertising. You know how people spend a lot of money on Facebook advertising? I'm just going to close these as I'm done with them. What I've been taking this Facebook course for the past 2 months online, and it's pretty interesting. But I found this, and the course has an ad calculator, but I was looking for one that was available to everyone. So HubSpot has an ad calculator. You don't have to buy their software. You can just use the ad calculator. And it lets you predict your return on your Facebook ad spend. So let's go through an exercise with GiftMDI as an example. So my projected monthly budget is pretty low. So let's just say it's $100. How much am I willing to pay per click? And this is in dollars. Now, keep in mind that when you go on Facebook, there isn't 1,000 advertisements. And the reason is that there's a few spots and whoever is willing to pay the most is going to get them. But let's just say that we don't want to pay infinite amount, right? So let's just say I want to pay $1 per click, which is pretty standard, I think, for a lot of industries. Oh, apparently I'm not good on the fine motor control here. All right. How many times does a visitor convert into a lead on my website? So some indicators might be how many people out of the people that visit your website sign up for your email list. How many people make a purchase. I guess a lead is not somebody who becomes a customer. It's somebody who is interested in hearing back from you. Maybe they like your Facebook page. They do something on your site. So I would say that 3% is pretty accurate for most people. I know that, for example, GiftMDI had about 200 something visitors this month, and we had, 7 or 8 purchases. So that I know how much they're going to convert. Okay, so let's just leave it at 3% just for our purposes. Then we have an average sale price. Okay, so this is how valuable is a single customer. And so I know the average GiftMDI customer spends $50. And you probably know what I guess 100 for this calculator. Fine, $100. And then lead to customer rate. What percentage of your leads turn into customers? So just because somebody subscribes to your email list doesn't mean they're going to turn into a paying customer. But I know if I think about how many people visit GiftMDI versus how many people buy, I can say it's about like 2 or 3%. So let's just make it 3. Let's just be optimistic and make it 3. So as you see, if I'm willing to pay $1 per click and my customer is worth $100 and whatever, the return on my ad spend is negative. Now, here's the thing. I think a lot of us too, especially if you're a business that hosts events or something like it, that it could be that not all your advertising has to go to people to making money. Like you don't necessarily have to see a paid return on your investment. It could be that, it costs, that you're getting new people in the door, or that it's part of your, you can think of it as part of your advertising budget. But something I would want to do is I would want to either increase my conversion rate, right, to make it more worthwhile. That's something that would make it more worth. So making my website so that more people bought from it that visited. I would want to increase the average sale, how many sales I made, right, would definitely help that. Can you imagine the average person buying $800 of gift certificates? Or, I could say I'm willing to pay less. I want to pay, 50 cents a click. So let me turn it back to 4%. Let me turn this back to, there we go, $100. Okay, I'm still negative. Okay, but you see what I mean, right? So before you take out a Facebook ad, because that's all Facebook wants you to do is take out ads, because they want to make all kinds of money off of you, because that's how they work. So what you want to do is instead you want to think about how much you're spending and why you're spending it, and not lose money unless you know you're losing money and you're okay with it. Like I said, not everything has to be making money, but before you just pay $5 to boost something, because I know a lot of you do that. They're like, oh, I got more eyeballs on it. Just think about it a little bit more, thinking about, okay, well, if I lead someone to a website, can I make it so that they want to buy more? Or is there a way that I can increase the amount of money my customers spend, maybe by offering, more products on my website or different price point products on my website? So, like I said, don't mean to be a giant bummer there, but most people are just bleeding money on the Facebook ads, and I really want to stop that if I can. So use an ad calculator like this. I'm sure there's other ones out there. This is just one I found yesterday that looked pretty good. So take it for what it's worth. Now, the other thing that you probably noticed is that a lot of your stuff that you have to say in social media is repeat stuff. Like, for example, if you're a brewery, you probably have a certain amount of beers. You're not coming up with a new beer every week. You have your usuals, and, they have flavor profiles, or they're, good with certain kinds of food. There's just certain things that you can say multiple times. But rather than you logging into Facebook and saying the same thing multiple times, there exists social media software that lets you loop posts. So this is the free one. It's called recurpost.com. And so what you could do is you could say, okay, I'm going to bring in, this is free, by the way, I think for up to 3 accounts or 5 accounts or something like that. Someone like me is not going to get it for free because I manage a lot of accounts, but if you have one business, this can work pretty well. So what you want to do is you want to add your social media accounts. As you see, you can add different kinds of social media accounts. Just seeing if there's any questions in the chat. Nope. You can add different kinds of social accounts. Facebook is going to be, and LinkedIn, whatever. So anyway, once you have the accounts added that you want added, you're going to make a content library. So I made a library called GiftMDI products. So what I can do is I can say, okay, I'm going to add, okay, come on. Oops, okay, I'm wrong. I'm using the, I don't want to create a one-time post. I want to create anyway, content library, add content, sorry. I use a different software than this, so I'm not entirely used to how it works. So I can write my thing here. I can add photos to it. I can, and then the other kind of interesting thing is, so currently this will loop indefinitely until I say stop recycling after. So what you can do like my random pictures I have on my computer. What we can do is so let's say we were talking about the 4th of July thing coming up. Let's say you have a 4th of July special that's coming up. Well, you clearly don't want it to run after the 4th of July, so you can just say, you know what, stop running. Oh, I started writing 19. Oh my God. I started writing 1990 something. So let's say we wanted to stop running after the 5th of July. There we go. And then we'd click add to library. So what you can do is you can spend an afternoon writing a bunch of content that is going to be good for multiple shares. And then once you have content in there, you can add, I think they call it an editorial calendar. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a schedule, and you're going to say, okay, you're going to share something on the GiftMDI Facebook page from the products library, on Sundays at 3 p.m., on Fridays at 7 p.m., and you can set those days and times exactly. And, you can so this way you're not retyping the same stuff over and over again. And you'll be able to even do some testing and see like what timing works well. So if you share the same kinds of things and have, and change, so if you share the same thing at different times, you can see if you have certain times of day or certain days that work really well for your business. All right. How's everyone doing? We're about halfway through, but I've got through 1, 2, 3, 4 of the things. Okay, 4 of 10. All right, doing okay. The other ones can be kind of short. Okay. The other thing that you may not know is that for your Facebook page, you know how it docks you if you don't respond to things right away? And so it makes you feel like you have to keep your Facebook open all the time. You don't have to. I'm here to tell you. So if you go on your Facebook page, don't get overwhelmed with your life, because that's how I feel whenever I log into Facebook. You're going to go under your settings of your Facebook page, and you're going to go under messaging, which is the second thing down in the left menu. And you can actually use instant replies to your page. You can have a messenger greeting, so when someone goes to message you, they can get greeted a certain way. So just know that you can, schedule these automatic communications with people who reach out to you on Facebook. This is, I guess, them getting into the whole bot technology. You know how you go on websites sometimes for, technical support or something, and it's like, hi, how can I help you? Like instantaneously. That's not someone sitting there like waiting for you to show up. That's, a bot, which makes sense, right? But it looks like we can take advantage of this on our Facebook pages. So if you think about the kinds of things that people are messaging you about, you can, just write some, sort of personal seeming responses, or I'm not saying personal seeming, I'm saying you can be personable on it and have it also be automated. So just know that those autoresponder settings are back there, and they can be really helpful, especially if you're slammed or you'd rather people call you, so you can say like, if you're placing an order, please call 207, blah, 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 to get people to do that. Because I know sometimes some of you can be a little bit slammed, you're making food and you don't have time to like dust your hands off and get to your keyboard to take the lunch order. So just know that autoresponders are your friends, and you can do them in such a way that they're not too corporate. So the other thing I'd like to talk about, actually, while we're on Facebook, is the Facebook friends list. Now, so this is something that Facebook will automatically generate for you, in terms of lists. So it'll make you a list of people that you've worked with at different organizations you've worked for. But also, you can make your own friend lists, which is really helpful, especially if you do like a Facebook event and want to invite people and don't want to have to go through and individually click on everyone. So if you scroll down, if we look in the left sidebar of Facebook when you're logged into Facebook, underneath the Explore section, there's this friends list it's 5 items down. So if we click on friends list, that's where we get this. And so what you can do, so I made one called MDI Business People. So these are the people on MDI who all run businesses or who I know have businesses. And what I can do is I can click on them and I can see all the status updates from them. But also, like I said, if I am writing a new status update, so let's say I have a local workshop coming up, what I can do is I can specify for it to go to, my lists, MDI Business People. So I can have this only post to MDI Business People and say, hey, I'm doing a workshop coming up here, and also we can use this when we create an event and it says invite people. You can click the list thing and just select everyone in the list. So it may be worthwhile for you to go through and categorize people. Now, nobody can see this list, by the way, of who I've put in there. This is just for me. And what it does is it allows me to, invite people quickly, make sure I don't forget anyone. And as I add new people to the friends list, I try to put them in the right category. So you could categorize people by location. So if you do events in certain locales, you could have, different groups of people be interested in that. You could do it by other, people who are, you could have a wholesalers list. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but sort of my online and in real life blend together. I'm friends with people I do business with. So, I could make a list of people that come to all my workshops, for example, or I can make a list. And so when I have other workshops, I can invite them, that kind of thing. So just kind of think about the times where you're on Facebook doing stuff and thinking, okay, this doesn't apply to everybody in my life, but it applies to some people. You can think about how to use that, the friends list. And this is the final thing I'll say about Facebook. And I just want you guys to know that it's there, and I think there'll be more done with it. There is a part of Facebook which you may have never been to, and I certainly hadn't until I started taking this Facebook class. And it's called business.facebook.com. And it has this like weird grayish blue tab on the top, and it looks a little bit different, but we're still on Facebook because it has the little F. You may ask yourself, what is this? I asked myself the same thing. So first of all, if we go here, if you've ever done Facebook advertising, you probably have a personal Facebook ad account that has your credit card in it or whatever. The thing with the Facebook ad account is you can only have a Remarketing Pixel for one website, and there's a couple of other limitations. And as you start doing more, you're going to realize like, oh crap, I want to do more, but it's all stuck in my personal stuff. The other advantage, there's a couple advantages of moving to an agency account. So I made an agency account because I'm so fancy. But really what it is I can do a lot more with this. So for example, I can add people to manage Facebook business pages with their work address and not with their personal Facebook email address. I can add them to ad accounts with their work address and not. So it's a lot easier with this if you want to have a little bit of control of who has access to your stuff. But the other thing is I can make up to 10 marketing pixels. So let me just show you what I mean by what a marketing pixel is. So I go up to Business Manager, and under Events Manager, there's this pixels thing. This is going to blow your mind. I know it blew my mind after. So let's just say I hemmed and hawed with GiftMDI about adding remarketing to the site. I felt a little odd about it. I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But basically I have a little pixel on the GiftMDI site. And if you're logged into Facebook, basically the website is tracking you. Don't worry, it's covered in my privacy policy. Now the default view here is the last 7 days, but I can actually see the last 30 days. So this is how many people or how many events have happened on the website in the last 30 days. Now, if I want to, for example, I could take out a Facebook ad that just targeted people who initiated checkout and just kind of prompted them to come back. I mean, I'm sure you've had that happen to you before, right? Where you're on Facebook and you're like, why is this stuff following me? So if you have a personal account, you can only set up one of these, which only tracks one website. But if you set up an agency account, you can do up to 10. So if you have different websites or you manage different things, it makes sense to have an agency account. I think that Facebook is going to do a little bit more with this, but just know that you could install a remarketing pixel on your website. And now as you see, I can see the number of people, but I can't see who. It's not like I can say, oh, my friend Linda came on this site like 16 times. I have no idea. But at the very least, what I can do is I can take out an ad targeting these people. I'm going to be doing not that this is a plug, I'm doing a Facebook for Your Business class coming up here in a couple of weeks. Here at Anchorspace, I'm happy to also broadcast it if people want to do it. It's a paid class because I certainly spent a lot of money learning a lot of this stuff. But I just wanted to let you know that this business thing is here. And if you wanted to learn more about it, I'm sure you could also do that on your own. But this is where you can create these pixels that you add to your website that allow you to track who's come to your website and take out ads specifically to them. So I think someone, and I don't remember if it was in this morning group or tonight's group, that asked, is advertising worth it? And I think the question you have to ask yourself is, it's between sort of using that calculator I just showed you and collecting data like this. You don't want to just buy stuff willy-nilly. You just want to buy it really intentionally and understand what you're trying to get out of your ads, or else you are going to be frustrated by spending, $5 a time and realize that all you've done is, line Facebook or Google's or whatever giant media company's pocket. But, they do have these tools for us that normally would only be available to large companies. So good with the bad, I say. But just know that is back there. All right. Hey, Hope you guys are doing okay. We're getting through a fair bit of stuff here. Now, let's talk a little bit about Instagram. So Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company, and but I find I really struggle with Instagram because I have to take a nice picture and then I have to say something interesting about it. And I have a hard time doing both of those things at the same time. It's like I can do one or the other. So let's establish the fact that you can pretty much dress up any picture without having to know Photoshop. There's a tool called PicMonkey. There's another one called Canva. So the other one is spelled like this, canva.com. As you see, I've been there before. But the idea is that you can create an interesting visual without having to know a lot of Photoshop or do a lot yourself. So just know that these tools exist that and I like PicMonkey for more of this kind of stuff. I sort of like Canva for laying out like a flyer or something, but I like this for doing more of like a social media post. So what I can do is I can say, all right, let's look at these templates. I want to look at, okay, sure, Facebook ad size. So these are people who've come up with Facebook ad size templates. So let's say you've taken a few pictures of your products. What you could do is we can say we want to customize this. And now I'm going to tell you something here. What's interesting is they make you make an account if you're going to save the picture. But let me just tell you a little way around that. So, what you can do is you can say add your own pictures. By the way, I love this because I have no idea oh, here's a cow picture. Why not? I love how there's all these random pictures on the computer. So I can just, resize and drag things into place. I don't have to use their exact template, but I can, put things where I want to put them and resize them. There is a little stack on the very bottom of the PicMonkey thing that looks like two pieces of paper on top of each other. This is the layers. So if I want to, I could say, oh, I want this cow picture to go underneath that other picture. So there, the cow picture is underneath. Not sure why I'd want to do that, but you can rearrange items like this anyway. But once you have something that you like, and by the way, this is not something I like, but I'm not going to spend time doing it. You can, when you try to export it, it's going to be like, hey, you should make an account. But the other thing, if you just really don't feel like making an account and just want to do something really quickly, is there we go. And we can just take a screenshot and it'll be a picture and it'll be fine. There we go. And now it's saved on my desktop. So if you really don't feel like making an account and just want to do something really quick, you can do that. I believe it's free, and we do a paid version of this. I think it's like $4 a month or something. And basically, what it allows us to do is we have this thing called the Hub. Yeah, don't save. They're not beautiful. And what we can do is we can make templates and we can go back and we can rework them if we want to. So just know that. Don't save. They're really concerned about you saving, just generally. So I think the paid version just allows you to save templates and go back to them. But if you just want to sit and make some pretty pictures, you can use the photos that you've taken. You can add a little filter over them, and you can make them look nice. And then you think, okay, well, how am I going to put that back on my phone to use on Instagram? Well, don't worry, folks. I really like this for Instagram scheduling, this later.com. What I can do is I can upload pictures. So let's say I made a beautiful picture just now. Let's say the cow. And once it adds the picture in, what I can do, as you see, I have a little schedule here. And I get a certain amount, I think it's 30 posts per month for free. And then I can upgrade my plan. But I only use this for Instagram. And I'll show you why right now. So if I put this, and this is in the past, so this is not going to work well. But what I can do is I can write a caption. But I can also, there's a little thing called saved captions. So if you have certain things that you say a lot, you can just use a saved caption that has all your favorite hashtags in it, for example. And you can schedule it. And we can say save. And there it is. Oh, no, don't go. Just kidding. Delete. Don't put it on there. Discard. Yes. Yes, I'm sure. So what you could do is you could spend an afternoon kind of working some photos, uploading them into here and getting them scheduled for your month. And then you could just hop into Instagram and kind of, comment or, react to stuff versus thinking about making it look nice and be perfectly spelled and everything. And having to remember to log in. So like I said, I really like this one with the saved captions. It makes me happy. So later.com. And there's tons of these kinds of schedulers out there. I'm just showing you that I like the recur post for the recurring things. I like this for Instagram because I feel like Instagram is not really a recurring kind of platform. Okay, we did PicMonkey. We talked about Canva and we talked about making nice images. Okay, 2 things to go. So, 1 second, let me log back into Mailchimp. This is a password management system I use. As you see, we have our client passwords in here, but you can't see any of them. Anchor space, Mailchimp, there it is. Copy password. See, so you never saw that, So I will say the encrypted password management system is something that I enjoy telling our clients that we have so that they know their data is safe. Okay, so I want to talk to you a little bit about something called RSS feeds. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of them, but basically an RSS stands for Real Simple Syndication. So it's what happens when you go to a website. So let me just go to an RSS reader to show you what I mean. So let's say that you enjoy reading 5 or 6 different websites every morning. Am I not logged in? No, thanks. Let's say you enjoy reading a lot of websites like I do. So I have a little personal finance area here. So rather than going to the individual websites, I can take a look at the websites I follow and I can say, I'm good. Oh, that might be interesting to read later. I'm going to bookmark it. I'm good. So I can have a really quick glance at what's going on. And this technology is made possible by Real Simple Syndication. Now, if you have a website, whether it runs Squarespace or WordPress or something like it, you probably have an RSS feed associated with your website. So if I wanted to add, if you want to see, by the way, let's say a website. So let's see if, let's see. Okay, so I see that barharborinfo.com has a feed, and what I can do is it looks like it says 1 article per month, but all this to say is that you can just look up any website and see if it has a feed, but your website probably does, or if it doesn't, you could turn it on very easily. Now, what you can do with a service like Mailchimp, which is CAN spam compliant, that means it is a marketing service. It allows people to unsubscribe in 1 click. It has a physical address in the footer of the email template. And it otherwise follows the rules of email marketing without you having to remember everything. Also, it happens to be free for 2,000 or 2,500 subscribers. So free is a lovely price point. Now, something that most people don't know about Mailchimp is when you go to campaigns, and that's campaigns is like marketing send, and you just click create a campaign. Email campaign. Okay. One of the options here is this automated. And what you can do is you can actually, if your website runs an RSS feed, you can have emails automatically send to your audience when there's something new on the site. And let me just show you what one of these looks like in real life rather than going through the whole setup thing. It's so funny. I set up my new person's email yesterday and it keeps logging me out. Stop logging me out. So for example, we do this with our GiftMDI blog posts. So we know that the GiftMDI. Hold on, I'm having a moment. Okay, so here's one. So this automatically goes out. It says from the GiftMDI blog, and it puts the blog, and it automatically emailed everybody on my list. and it has some recent articles in there, and I can put a shop. So I can basically make this template look however I want. But you can have this automatically send when you add new things to your website, when you add new products or whether you add a new blog post. Just know that you can set up the email auto send, and it's really lovely. Actually, I shouldn't have logged into Anchor Spaces one for you to see, but what we can do is we can say, all right, share blog updates, and we can call it, this campaign name, by the way, is internal. And so I could say begin. And what it does is it asks me the feed URL. And so if I go back and look, this is Bar Harbor Info's feed URL. So I would look up my own in a similar way. I could go into a feed reader, type it in, and it would tell me what the feed link was. So I just say, hey, take everything from this feed, and when should you send it? You could say, send every week, send every Monday at 4 a.m., 6 a.m. And then you just kind of go through the steps, and you say, okay, I probably want to reset. Oh, it's not a valid feed. Okay. Every week on Monday, resize the images. What you'll notice is your website template is probably wider than most email templates. Most email templates are about 600 pixels, which is about, in case you're wondering, it's about this, but your website is wider. So we just want to resize the images to fit in the template. Probably not a bad idea. And then we just go through and we tell it the information that it needs. So, okay, out of these people, do I want to send it to the entire list? Do I want to send it to? So you just basically go through, you set this up once, and emails will automatically send at the time, and you can design it and all that. They will automatically send at the times that you want them sent, which is pretty freaking cool. And it'll save you a ton of work. Something that I noticed is that I was surprised that people would want to hear from our blog once a week, but we have about 100 subscribers that we regularly, keep updated. And as you see with that email, the recent posts, we had someone who said, hey, can I sign up? Can I sign up for GiftMDI finally? So they do seem to do something when you regularly talk to people. And then the final thing, so just know that this RSS thing exists, and it can automatically send stuff when you add it to your website, to your email list. And trust me, people still do use email. And the final thing I want to talk about is thinking about payment on your website. So I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. And then there's oh my God, it keeps signing me out. This is what happens when I make a new email account on this computer. It can't even believe that I made a new email account. So there's a couple of services out there. I will say this came in really handy when I was traveling last month, and somebody, the person who cleans Anchor Space was like, you forgot to leave me a check. Sorry. And so what you can do is Google lets you send money to people. Now, you might just say, well, I could do that with my bank and stuff, and that's fine. But there's two benefits to something like this. First of all, it's instantaneous. And the other thing is you can send money from one debit card to another debit card, so it doesn't charge you the credit card transaction fees, which is kind of cool. So if you have regular providers that you work with that, want to get paid regularly, and you don't want to go through the whole, bill pay with your bank, or otherwise just want to use the benefits of a credit card without necessarily having them incur the transaction fees of a credit card, you can bring this up as an option if you are both Gmail or Google Apps users. But the other thing, I started just looking into this thinking, well, I wonder if there was an affordable type of payment form. And I actually found this thing, which I will just say I don't have any experience with, because we have payment forms that we do on our websites that use our website software. But in talking with you and not knowing what your website software is, I wanted to find something that was kind of good for everybody. So you can make a payment form on your website. It looks like it will charge you. I really like Stripe as a payment processor. It's an online payment processor. You can set up an account in 5 minutes. You basically need your business's EIN number. you need the last 4 of the social security number of the person who owns the business and their name. And I think that's pretty much it. Everything else is like business description and stuff that you could answer pretty easily. But Stripe charges 2.9% plus 30 cents a transaction with no setup fee and no monthly fees. This service, this Cognito Forms, charges an additional 1%. And that's how they get their money, right? Everybody needs to take a cut. So it's it's like 3.9% plus 30 cents a transaction. But by giving people the opportunity to pay for something online, whether it's prepaying for a massage or whether it's taking recurring payments if you have some kind of membership, I think it's really good to capture people's payment information while they are interested. So if you're having an event, I know with me, it's like people are like, oh, I'll bring a check. And I'm just like, or you could decide that it's your cat's birthday that morning and not come to the workshop. So call me a little bit cynical, but I really like Stripe, but it looks PayPal and Square also, it looks like it'll work with those as online processors, and you could set up a payment form. So if we go to, so we have a few, I had somebody who had to buy a gift certificate and we hadn't had time to put the business on the site yet. So I just made this very quick payment form. So I could put, do you like when I test credit cards, I make funny business names because I can. You can put the certificate amount and all that. And as you see, we're on a secure site. So I can put in this information and it'll process it through this payment form without having to use a third-party solution. But I just wanted to let you know that having an ability for someone to pay for something online is a good thing to have, and it's worth considering even if you're paying a little bit of a transaction fee, because even if someone physically walked in with a credit card to your business, you'd be paying a transaction fee anyway. So why not let them buy gift certificates, or let them pre-buy appointments, or let them, buy a t-shirt. And rather than you worrying about setting up a whole cart a la GiftMDI, you can just have a payment form on your site. I have clients who are self-published authors who've written one book. They don't need a whole cart. They need a payment form. I know a guy who sells 3 different kinds of sauces. He makes pasta sauces. He doesn't need a whole cart. He just needs a form that takes a payment. So if you don't have infinite products, but you want people to be able to pay online, having a payment form is a really, I think, great way to do that, and capturing their information while they're interested. So anyway, those are my 10 things about saving time and money online this season, making it easy for you to make hopefully more money and spend less time on some of this marketing stuff. I'm open to feedback if you have other workshop ideas for me. So feel free. I think you have my email from when I emailed you the Zoom link, so you can just reply to that. Does anybody have any questions? We have a couple of minutes left before 9 o'clock. I told everyone that you would be done by 9, so I don't want to keep anybody longer than I said I would.